to go internationally with a SaaS product? And you said earlier you could go from day one, but there's also a lot of complexity that comes with it. I know you've talked before about it's not just about doing the taxes and the compliance aspects, but you also want to make it feel like it's tuned to the market. You want to make sure that the pricing is relevant to the market, not just
Yep.
take your USD price and then convert it to rupees and then that's the price. Well,
Sure.
that's kind of tone deaf and not knowing your market. So you need to kind of think through a lot more things. So I would imagine small startups, it doesn't necessarily make sense, but there's obviously an inflection point at which
Hmm.
in your journey, well, we can expand into markets. And so which ones we expand into? How do we
Sure.
do it? How do you do that reach? So what's that? Yeah, what's that calculus look like?
Yeah, it's really interesting. I think when I talk to especially early SaaS founders, early stage SaaS founders, we often talk about the distinction between being present in a market and being successful in a market, because it's easy to be present in a market from day one. You configure a bunch of things in a payments platform, you deploy your product globally. It doesn't add much complexity to launching a SaaS product or launching a digital product in order to make it sellable on a global scale, right? From a product perspective. I think there's a big difference though between sort of making that product available globally and being successful globally, and that's very much what the conversation centers around.
It's like
What is
checking
the
the box
delta?
versus actually
Totally.
making it relevant and good.
Exactly. Making it relevant and good is much more difficult, and there are many components to what we call localization, which is having an offering that is localized to that particular market, with the purpose of that being I want to be as successful as possible as I can be in that market. So to talk through like a couple of those or a few of those different pillars from a payments perspective, the obvious one is currency. So currency is a great way to localize in a certain market. So if you're selling into France or Spain, you want to make sure you're selling in euros. You don't
Wait,
have
is
to,
that just
right? Yeah.
necessary or is that a choice? Like you could sell in USD
You
in
could sell in
France.
USD, absolutely. You could sell in
Interesting. And then
USD.
they
A
just
lot of
get hit
people
with a
do.
conversion rate or something.
Yeah. So,
Hmm.
but you'll also get hit with a lower conversion rate through your checkout as well. So let's say you're a
Uh,
SaaS company deploying a PLG model, so product led growth. Customers self serve onto your product. If I'm in France and I land on a landing page of a SaaS product and everything is in USD, you're sending a message to me that you're not present in France, right?
right.
You're sending a
Right.
message to me, a signal that actually you're a US company, not a French company. And yeah, a lot of people will still buy. Again, you're present in the market, but are you maximizing your success in that market? No. So we see all the data on companies that are localizing currency and those that aren't localizing currency. And there are multiple percentage points of a difference in conversion rates through a checkout funnel or through a buying funnel that you get from a localized currency experience. The other reason why people tend to not like purchasing in foreign currency, especially in subscription based products, is that you're exposed to currency fluctuation because the price you're locked into is a USD price, which means based on how that exchange rate changes over time, you could be paying a different amount every month. Now, between euro and the USD, it's not likely to change meaningfully, but you take that example and apply it in other markets and it's
Turkey.
more meaningful. Exactly, right?
Yeah.
Um, so that's a more pragmatic reason. But I think the bigger reason is you're just sending a message to your buyers that, you're not present in that market. It might not be important to you or critical to you. And I think currency is the first one. Language is another, right? Like you can sell in English all over the world if you'd like to. Um, what message are you sending to use the France example to a buyer in France if you are presenting your buying experience in French? Just easier for them to get through, right? Lots of people in France, English is their second language. They're gonna feel more comfortable in a French buying experience that's in the French language. So
And
again,
it's
it's all
probably
about signaling.
I would think it's like the comfort level, but then there's also a certain amount of um I mean, I guess it's maybe it's all just comfort, but it's less friction for a
Yeah.
consumer to go through a process where they don't have to have as much cognitive load of translating something into a language, or maybe they're reading their second language, so it's not as comfortable, which again
Yep.
probably impacts the funnel and the conversion rate through the entire experience.
Completely. And then to take the concept further again, you think about local payment methods.
If you enjoyed that clip, there is much more of that conversation. Make sure to check out the full interview where we get into so much more. And if it was helpful, click the like and subscribe button.
If not, no worries. Hopefully, I'll convince you next time. I hope you have a wonderful day and enjoy wherever you are.